Hello and welcome to today's show with George Dvorsky, Westmoreland County native and Broadway and off-Broadway star. George, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Ben. Good to be here.
So tell me about your connection to the Westmoreland County area.
I was born in Greensburg Hospital. My family lived in Manor at the time. My uncle owned a costume shop that people know Dvorsky's costume shop. And when I was in second grade, we moved to Greenridge. I went to Hempfield my entire life.
We won't hold that against you.
But it's funny because my sister, who also went to Hempfield, became Norwin school nurse. And then my nieces and nephews all go to Norwin. So I had to share the allegiance.
Great. Now, where did you find your love for theater and love for music?
My mother said I sang before I talked. And in ninth grade, I was playing football. We lost our first game. We had to have hitting drills the next day. I broke my arm because I was the last hit of the day. Stood up and my arm went, so I had to go to the hospital, and I went back to school and thought I need something to do, so I joined the choir to take up some time. Found that I could sing, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Well, let's talk about some of that history. I mean, you have played some of the great roles on Broadway, played with some of the greatest divas and men of the stage.
I've been very fortunate. I have made a living in this business for 37 years, which is a feat in itself, because this business is so crazy. I was very lucky to come in when it was still the golden era of Broadway. Mm-hmm. There were shows, when I first came to New York, I think there were, every week I would have 2 or 3 auditions for Broadway shows. Now it's one every 6 months, if that. But there were shows right and left, and it was just a much easier business to get into when I got into it back in 1984.
19 what now?
Back in the early 80s.
Now, how did you get your first break up in New York?
My first big show was the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
Okay.
I went to a chorus call. They typed us out. I was number 51 on the list. At that time, you went to the theater, signed up on the door. You went back at 10 o'clock, and they lined you up on stage and said, you stay, you stay, you stay. I was 51 on the list. I was number 1 after the first cut. You had to be over 6 feet tall and look like an Aggie football player. So I made that cut. Then we had to sing, made it through that, and we had to do part of the Aggie dance, made it through that. And there were 2 of us left, and they said, 1 of you will be in the Broadway show as a replacement, and 1 will go to the national tour. So I got the national tour, which I was thrilled to do. My mother, may she rest in peace, used to write me 2 letters a week, and she would never put whorehouse on the envelope. She would write the best little W house, or the best little blank house, or the best little chicken ranch. She would never say whore. So the cast they knew this, and they'd wait until Thursdays or Mondays when I got, and they'd all stand by the mailboxes so they could see what she wrote that day. And I was out on the road for 9 months with that, and then came back into the Broadway show.
Okay.
So I closed the Broadway show in 1982.
Wow. What of all the roles you played, what would you say? I know it's like picking your children.
No, Don Quixote.
Don Quixote, Man of La Mancha.
I just did it in February of this year in Boca Raton, Florida. I'd never done it. I knew the music. My vocal coach had me sing all the songs. I never even saw the show. I knew what it was about, of course.
Right.
And I was cast in it, and it ended up being, all the stars aligned for this production. The director was great, the theater was great, the cast, which was mostly locals in Florida, was phenomenal. And we sold out, 5-week run. They actually added an extra performance our final week, which sold out in an hour.
Wow.
It was a thrill, and it's become my favorite role. Before that was George and She Loves Me. No one knows that show. She Loves Me. Please go see it wherever you see it's playing. It's a great show.
Now, did you have a community theater in the Westmoreland County area that you kind
Apple
of...
Hill?
Apple Hill, up in Delmont?
Yeah, when I was in high school. I did a show at the Apple Hill, and I did something in the White Barn.
Okay, yeah, in Jeanette,
Yeah,
right?
That was the White Barn was on Route 30.
Okay.
It's, I think, an Irwin address,
Okay.
I believe.
Now, what did that mean to have a community theater that you could call your own and kind of hone your craft?
That's exactly it. You hone your craft. I was lucky because of those 2 theaters. I knew a lot when I went to Carnegie Mellon. I went to the college there, and I knew enough to get me into the school. And you pay your dues, basically. Just learn the basics of theater, and you know, some people don't know what stage right, stage left, down stage, up stage is. You learn all those things in community theater, and just the love of it. You know, people will say that Broadway is the epitome, and that's what you want, that's what you reach for, but I have to say, of the 6 Broadway shows I've done, some of the regional and community things were actually better productions because people loved it so much and wanted to be there. Whereas in New York, I came off the road, like I said, I went to the Broadway company, and I was so surprised that it was a job on Broadway, whereas when you're on the road or working in a regional or community, you want to be there because you love it so much, and that's your responsibility to be there. So when it becomes your job, it loses an edge that is not, community theater and regional theaters have an edge that a lot of Broadway shows don't. And how's that for you?
Hopefully this doesn't reach New York,
truly,
right?
truly.
Now we're sitting here at the on the new stage of the Lamp Theater in downtown Irwin.
Yes.
Were you a patron of the Lamp when you were
I
growing
was.
up?
I saw a lot of movies here, and the last one I'd seen, I believe, was Romeo and Juliet,
Okay.
Franco Zeffirelli's movie, and I loved it. But the 3 girls behind us were crying so hard at the end. My brother and his friends started laughing, so we laughed at the end of the movie. So that was my last experience.
Well,
here
that's
at the Lamp.
uncomfortable.
But my mom came to see Porky's here. My mother, once again, may she rest in
Porky's.
peace. She and my oldest aunt came to see, and she thought it was one of the funniest. I can't believe my mother saw Porky's.
Your mom, who wouldn't write "whore" on the envelope, came and
Loved
saw Porky's.
Porky's.
Okay, well,
She didn't like the Lassie scene,
okay.
if you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, both of those. But she thought
Google
it, was
it, kids.
She thought it was one of the funniest movies. And when she told me she saw it, I couldn't believe it.
Well, I mean, you know, the Lamp has so many memories for so many people in the downtown Irwin area and the greater Irwin area.
Mhm.
And now it's a new era for the Lamp. And you were in here a couple days ago taking a look. What did you think when
This
you walked in?
renovation's impressive. It's amazing, actually, because it looks like a regular full theater now, which before was just a movie theater. This can be a great venue for a lot of different things.
Now, why should people get involved at the Lamp and get involved in their local theater organizations?
The arts are important, and I think a lot of funding has been cut, and the arts are slipping away from us, and I think we really need it because it keeps it alive, keeps it going. And it's a vacation, so to speak, for some people, and it's a respite from all the troubles that they have in their life normally in their work situations. So it's always great to come into a theater and lose yourself in it.
George, how can people keep up with you and what you're up to in the regional theater scene and in New York?
I have a website, which is georgedvorsky.net, and I also have a Facebook page, George Dvorsky. I'm on iTunes. My nephew, because you know I'm Uncle George to 12 nieces and nephews, and 11 great nieces and nephews. And my nephew called one day. He went, "Uncle George, you're all over iTunes." And I said, "Well, that's what I do. I have 2 solo CDs out. I've done a bunch of cast albums, so I'm listed on Amazon and iTunes." And they were all shocked. And I thought, "What do you think I've been doing for 37 years? I've been doing something, I hope." So I'm all over I'm on the internet.
Great, on the internet and here at the Lamp Theater, and we appreciate you stopping by. George Dvorsky, thanks for your time.
My pleasure, Ben. Thank you. And I love this place.